Having worked with thousands of sales associates in dozens of categories, that most people, as good as they are only operating at 40% of their potential. 40%. And that might actually be a generous calculation. In today's world, what we believe and what we're learning from the science, not the mythology, but the science of cognitive relationship building. How does the brain work? Trust. You need to not just outlearn, so you constantly have to learn, be an expert on your industry, be an expert on dealing with people. Because remember, AI, artificial intelligence, is going to do the rest. We need to outperform, which means we need to take great action. But most importantly, we need to outbehave our competition. That's not a term I invented, but it's a term I use. Outbehave your competition. What does that mean? And I'll tell you a story to bring it to life. Sorry. Number one is you have to be an expert. You have to be a master at your craft. You have to be knowledgeable and more knowledgeable on yachts and on your customers. I was talking to some of you than anybody else. And that takes a lot of work. You have to be an expert on your craft, and you have to be an expert on people. And there are three attributes of emotional intelligence that we have surveyed wealthy people, ultra wealthy people every year that they say they want from an associate. Number one is empathy. The ability to listen to me, ask me powerful questions, and then provide an appropriate solution or appropriate response. Empathy. But that's not a quality you're born with. That's a skill. We think it is, but it's a skill. Number two is the ability to be trustworthy. The ability to communicate to people verbally and with body language that you are here to serve their interests first and foremost. That you'll get paid, because you need to make a living, by creating great value for them first and foremost. And from what I've heard, there are a lot of sharks in most industries, and probably this industry is no different. I always say to people, what you don't get is that you think that Darth Vader is the only one who's entitled to make money. But Anakin Skywalker and Princess Leia, they can make a hell of a lot more money. It's just that it takes longer. There's a different arc, because you don't get instant gratification when you act like a shark. It takes a while for your integrity to build. So you get some short-term gratification, you get some medium-term gratification, and then if you're there enough years, the money just starts pouring in. Am I wrong?
Absolutely right.
I just got $1 million contract from a guy who I knew 7 years ago. Hadn't talked to him. He said, I thought of you when I became the president of the company. And that sounds just to my own horn. It happens all the time, but people don't seem to get that sometimes. We think we got to sell. We're transactional, right? Got to grab that now. I got to eat. My kids have to eat. Yeah, they also have to learn to be good human beings. And they look at you as the example, right? They look at us as the example. So let me tell you a story about expertise, empathy, trustworthiness, and generosity. There was a very wealthy guy in Australia, and he bought a BMW 750 Li, which is the top-of-the-line BMW. And he forgot to order a connector for his devices. He went back to the dealer and he said, I need to order this. I forgot to order. He said, yeah, it's going to take 90 days to get that. 90 days? Yeah, 90 days. You know, we import our cars into Australia. So because he's a very wealthy entrepreneur, he goes to the Mercedes dealer, whom he knows, and he says, how long would it take you to get me that part if I forgot to order it? If I bought the S500, he said, we're much better than BMW. We'd get it for you in 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Okay, better. He went to the Lexus dealer. The Lexus dealer said, sir, I'll be back to you in 12 hours. He said, what? You can't even tell me the answer? He said, sir, just let me work on it. I'll be back to you in 12 hours, and I'll give you the response. What do you think came 12 hours in a nicely beautiful package box 12 hours later? The BMW part. The BMW part. Expertise? Yes or no? Empathy? Trustworthiness? Generosity? Right? And so people said to this guy, who's a colleague of mine, yeah, but you still love your BMW. You're still driving a BMW, right? He said, yeah. But I recommended 10 people over the last 3 years to Lexus, and he sold 7 cars. That, to us, is what people who are very high performing do almost automatically every day. We like to say, and I hope this won't offend anyone, and you have to just ask yourself, that there are people with decades of expired experience. They're no longer experts. Like the way we drive a car, we're not experts. Danica Patrick is an expert because she is a race car driver, and she's learning and constantly testing herself, right? The rest of us, we're amateurs. We think we're good. That's why computers can do better than, that's why self-driving cars can do better than we do, right? And it won't kill 40,000 people a year. But you have to stay humble. And no matter how great you are, like that real estate agent, or those real estate agent stories I told you, you have to stay open to what other things I can do to achieve high performance. And then I have to do it consistently, because the biggest challenge is not that you're not going to get best practices. In fact, very often we know what the best practices are. It's that we fail to execute them well, because we never practice them. We failed to do it consistently, so we do it once in a while, but it's not always, or at all, and this is really important, when it really matters, okay? When the client really needs something, and when it really matters, that's when we have to deliver, right? And by the way, you have to put up with the fact that you may be good, you may have the best intentions, but they're not going to like it, they're going to reject you a lot. The great achievers know that sometimes, maybe even often, they're going to get rejected. And they're going to get rejected because they're misunderstood or they just didn't execute it properly. It doesn't matter. You keep going. That's resilience, right? Michael Jordan missed lots of shots at the end of the game, and he kept taking them, right? So that's the kind of opportunity I think we have to master skills that matter tremendously. And I'm going to give you some.